let's call the Neighborhood Development Committee to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Moore.
Here.
Alderwoman Howard.
Present.
Alderwoman Hubbard.
Present.
Alderwoman Murphy.
Here.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Present.
Alderman Gunther.
Here.
Alderman Odenberg. Chairman Cone.
Present.
You have 7 present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So typically the way that we handle these bills before this committee, I like to give alder people who are not members of the committee the opportunity to have their bills heard first. We are actually going to put a few bills on hold for the moment. Alderwoman Ingracia does not want to have her board bill heard, which is board bill number 83. And Alderman Moore does not want his one of his board bills heard, which is board bill number 78. So you can remove those from your packet for today, the purposes of today's meeting. Other than that, I was underneath the impression that Alderwoman Davis was going to be here this morning, so I'm going to confirm with her whether or not she wants her bills heard. And I believe she is the only, or actually we have Alderwoman Rice here. So Alderwoman Rice has board bill number 162. Alderwoman Rice, would you like to take the dais?
Okay, what do we got? If you want to pass that. Okay, a little bit.
Good morning. The handouts are coming around for that one. All right. So, okay, thanks. I just want to make sure everybody had it in front of them. So this is for 4102 Shaw Boulevard, and it is 5 years at 75% abatement that the developer is asking for. This will be a coffee roasting operation, primarily with sales as a sort of a side aspect of the production. They are working towards, fair trade sourcing. There's creation of 6 jobs. They'll be paying $15 an hour, I believe, is what they put in their materials. So living wage jobs that are coming out of there. And this property has not been in use for quite some time. And I don't remember the exact number of years, but it is a piece of what the old Emo's building is over there at that corner of Shaw and Thurman. And this is just this set aside piece. So it's not that exact corner building, it's a back building, and it needs significant renovations before anybody can move into it. So there have been several other offers on the table for development in that area, and they, because of the upfront costs, weren't able to get into there. So we're asking for 5 years at 75%.
Great. Questions from the committee, Alderman Moore?
No questions.
Alderwoman Howard?
No questions.
Alderwoman Hubbard? No questions. Alderwoman Murphy?
I take it I'm sorry. I take it the building is vacant now?
Yes,
And it has been for a long time?
It has been vacant for several years.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to place it and I can't, but no, that sounds wonderful.
Well, you can't, you can't really see
Yeah.
it shows blue on that picture, but that is a really ugly sort of fake wood wall that is there at the moment. And that'll all be coming down at the.
And you said it's a coffee roasting place. It will be retail there also?
There will be some retail,
Good.
yes,
Okay.
but it's primarily for the roasting operation that'll be in the back of it.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks.
This is at the corner of Thurman and Shaw, where the old Roma Pizza used to be, and then Sasha's on Shaw is catty corner to the property. That might be why we don't remember. No, I'm kidding. Could be. Alderwoman Spencer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The developer Tentera,
Yes.
is that the owner of the building as well?
Yes,
It's
he's
an
the owner,
building.
yes.
And what's the name of the coffee?
The coffee shop is called Pickup Coffee, will be the name of the operation. And I don't think that's detailed on the handout because he's the owner of the building and then she's running the operation out of it. So this is their little logo and they'll be coming through. But,
Nice. I
Yeah.
thought.
yeah.
Do they live in the neighborhood?
One of their partners does live in the neighborhood. And the woman who will be, so it's another woman-owned business as well. Her husband runs Dressels in the Central West End. So they're a family that is known to the restaurant. They're aware of the restaurant industry, and they'll hopefully be able to use that expertise to sustain this operation going forward.
My last question would just be, does this fit within the new sort of guidelines?
So, right, so the guidelines that we passed were for residential, first of all, but it's a fair question because it's a Shaw neighborhood, and that is why we're not looking at 100% and we're not looking at 10 years. So that was originally what was asked for, and I said I would not support that. So we reduced it down to the 5 years, 75%, and it is in the MVA-C zone, which a lot of the Shaw neighborhood is A and B, but C, the Shaw Boulevard and Detente are both in the C categorization, so they're more likely to be eligible for abatement than any of the others.
And those are the areas just immediately south of 44.
Right.
And for the 4,000 and 4,100 blocks only, I think.
I believe, yeah.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Looks like a great project.
Alderman Gunther?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So you said that this Tintera owns the corner store as well, but
Yes.
but it's not part of this project. Are they doing something with that building as well?
They have plans for that building. I am hoping that with this good faith effort, we can encourage the developer to keep moving on all of those properties as well. So,
All right. I look forward to a place to pick up more coffee. Thank you.
So why does Tintera Properties sound familiar to me? Do they own other property in the neighborhood?
they do own other property in the neighborhood. He owns a couple of multifamilies that we've been working hard to get online there. This building, I'm not aware of how he came by this particular property, because this was one that was the old Emo's building, and that's actually who I thought owned it at the time. I'm not sure what else he would also, I think that.
So he owns the corner property as
Yes,
well?
yeah, so he owns that whole section there. So there is someone living above the corner building, so that apartment is used, but the downstairs has been vacant for a long time. And he also is with Two Men in a Garden, I believe, is that salsa operation, he's one of the partners in that as well, so I'm not sure if that was why.
Okay. I do enjoy salsa. Okay, well, with that, I don't hear any other, or are there any other questions from the committee at this time? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on the bill.
I move that we pass Board Bill 162 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Or, yeah, let's take a vote.
Alderman Moore.
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard.
Aye.
Alderwoman Hubbard. Alderwoman Murphy. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Gunther.
Aye.
Alderman Odenberg. Chairman Cone.
No.
You have 6 yes votes and 1 no votes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you so much.
With that, we pass Board Bill 162 out with a due pass recommendation. Next, since I guess we have quite a few board bills from members of the committee, we'll go ahead and go in order of seniority. Alderman Moore has Board Bill number 97. She's not here presently, so I have a text out to her to see if she wants her bills heard. I'm not going to pass them out if she doesn't want them passed out.
Just curious if she.
And
97.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
You ready, Mr. Chairman?
ready when you are, Alderman.
Board Bill number 97 is from Rankin Tech. Rankin has built 40 new homes in my ward already. And they named the subdivision after my dad. My dad was the first bricklaying instructor at Rankin, and they don't do bricks anymore, so he was the first and the last bricklaying instructor at Rankin Tech. Rankin has taken the 4300 block the 4400 block, and they're going on down 4200 West Evans, building new homes in my ward. And I want to tell all of my constituents, all of my colleagues, leave Rankin alone so that way they can keep building in my ward. You don't need them in your ward, so I would appreciate if you would ask them to build houses in your ward. Let them finish my community out. I have 1,700 vacant lots, and they can have all of them. So with that, I ask for your favorable consideration.
All right, thank you, Alderman. Questions from the committee? Alderwoman Howard.
So they're going to take 3 tracks and they're going to build 2 homes? Is that what I'm understanding here?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds wonderful. And now, will this be low to mod income? Will there be income qualification for the buyers, or will it be just market rate housing?
Say it again, Beth.
Okay. Carol, that's okay. Is this market rate housing or is it subsidized?
They're market rate.
Okay. Sounds like a great price, too. So, good luck. I hope it works out and get some new families in there.
Yes.
Thank
We're
you.
looking forward to it.
That's all.
Alderwoman Hubbard.
No question, just a comment. I'm just glad to see the Fourth Ward making some strides. It's been a long time.
Thank you, 5.
Alderwoman Murphy.
Alderwoman, this is Carol speaking.
Hey, Howard.
I think it's wonderful. I'm so excited. I hope that the development continues.
Thank you so much.
I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this a CDA project? Or, I'm curious, the construction cost being $266 and the asking price being $135, is this
Is it a what project?
a community, is there funding from another source, like the Community Development Agency, the CDA, or do you know if
I think
there's?
they're kind of on their own.
Oh, they are? How did they do the construction for more than the asking price?
I'm not hearing you clear, Spence.
270 would be the ask.
66 per unit or
So they're
overall?
making-
Oh,
Three.
there's 2. Oh, I understand. So it's
So
two,
it's
it
266
was
for
a little
all
bit
3
confusing.
units?
Gotcha.
2 units.
Wonderful. That was the confusing component I had, and looks
Thank
like
you.
a great project. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Alderman Gunther.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say, great project. Looking at the Samuel Moore Senior Estates sign here that Rankin put up, it does say that they're going to be energy efficient community, so all built by Energy Star. So, and then my father's also a graduate of Rankin, so thank you for having them in your ward.
If you guys like, I could take you on a tour.
Love one.
Yep.
Alderman Oldenburg is not here. Zach, I do have a question. On the map, we made revisions to accommodate particularly, parts of North St. Louis and offering 100% tax abatement for up to 20 years. I would think that the Ville would qualify for that. This is a 10-year at 90%.
Correct. Alderman Moore's and Alderman Davis are pre-old door bills. They were before the map, so that's why.
So Alderman Moore, would you support 100% tax abatement on this, or, do you want to keep it at 10 years at 90%?
100%.
Okay, so why don't we hold the board bill and modify it for 100%? Okay,
Zach.
can we do that during this committee hearing, Zach?
Let me
Can we
ask,
please, offer an amendment? So, could we grab, Mary, do you mind grabbing Lugali, or is he here?
Mr. Chairman, may I ask Zach a question?
Sure.
Yes, money, yes.
Currently, the board bill is written for 10 years at 90% abatement. The bill, if memory serves correctly, is actually in an area that qualifies for up to 100%, I believe for up to 20 years. So the alderman would like to amend the bill to support 10 years at 100%. So we'll go ahead with the rest of the board bills and come back to this at the end of the meeting. Okay. Next, we have 3 board bills from Alderwoman Spencer. We will start with board bill number 126.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Of course.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, you said you'd like to start with 126?
Correct.
Board Bill 126 is a tax abatement project for the Lutheran Development Group, which has been doing some large-scale development in the Graveway Park and Dutchtown neighborhoods, primarily in the Graveway Park neighborhood. This particular project has 4 parcels along Oregon Street. Oregon, for those of you who don't know the Cherokee District very well, is sort of on the western side. And while these properties are fairly close to Cherokee Street, they're just 2 blocks off. This is a very, very, very challenged block. It dead ends. There's this sort of a cliff at the end of it. And there's been some, it's been a difficult set of properties to develop. So the Lutheran Development Group recently acquired them from a developer that was unable to really make the numbers work and held on to them for a long time. And with that, I think renovating these properties into rental units would be very, very good for the neighborhood. And with that, we're looking at 10 years at 95% to help the Lutheran Development Group be successful in the development of these properties. They have, I'm sure you all maybe remember, they have quite a few properties under development currently in the neighborhood, so this is just kind of adding to an overall portfolio of rental units for low to mod income families in our community. The really nice part is this is coming alongside of some market rate development, so we're kind of doing those 2 types of development along the same area in tandem.
Questions from the committee? Alderman Moore?
No.
Alderwoman Howard?
How many units will there be total?
This will be 8 2-bedroom apartments in total.
Okay, will they be adjusted for income?
It's my understanding.
Market rate.
So their previous, they have a big project underway that is being funded with the state. LIHTC, excuse me, yes. This is not part of that project, but it will be managed in a very similar fashion. And so I think the spirit of what they're doing is to provide quality housing for low to mod income families. And so while this is not necessarily going to be guaranteed as such, I do believe that the intent is to roll this.
Rent be subsidized?
This is not a LIHTC project, so.
No, but I'm asking, they're going to rent these, right?
They are going to rent these.
So will they be Section 8? I guess that's to be very clear.
Well, as you know, Section 8 knows no boundaries in the city of St. Louis.
Right.
I don't know that they would or would not be guaranteed to be a Section 8. My understanding is that they want to rent these to the same types of families they're going to be renting their LIHTC units. And so while that's not a guarantee, and they don't have funding in place that would mandate that, it's my understanding that's the intent. Yes.
Possibility. Now, who will be managing these?
This will be under the same management. I believe the Lutheran Development Group, along with RISE,
Chris
Sherman,
yeah.
will be developing, or will be managing them. They've got a good relationship with that Tower Grove community.
CDC, yeah.
CDC.
Okay. Yeah, I
To
know,
do
yeah.
tenant screening and stuff like that. So I feel confident that they will do a nice job in managing these properties.
Okay. Just want to make sure that we got something good quality and
Yeah.
it'll
The
withhold, you know.
Lutheran, the Lutheran
They do good work,
Church
yeah.
has come forward with a lot of their own private funding to sort of jumpstart this project and do planning in the community. And I've been really impressed with their generosity.
Yes,
So,
I agree. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Alderwoman Hubbard. Alderwoman Murphy.
No questions, really. I'm excited that there's 4 grouped together. That really makes an impact on those blocks. So I think I'm glad that happened. And I think Rise and Lutheran Development have a good track record. So, and I'm familiar with that drop-off that you're speaking about. So I know, I grew up around there, so I know right what you're talking about.
we recently rebuilt that wall with city money because it was falling down.
Is it a
It's a-
quarry back there? or-
It's a retaining wall. The street has a sort of a
Cliff.
40-foot cliff.
And then it had steps. It was a challenge on a bicycle when you were a
Oh,
child.
gosh,
you know?
yeah. There's a big gate. It's a challenge street. I don't know why it was built that way, to be honest. It's
Never
very
been
odd.
there.
The street just drops off 40 feet.
Yeah, maybe that's all good.
Okay.
Pretty incredible. Alderman Gunther.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So 352628 is a vacant lot. Are there plans for future new construction there, or was the purpose of?
I believe the intention there is to provide parking because the street is fairly built out. There isn't adequate parking for this number of bedrooms, housing units with this many bedrooms. The parking there has been a challenge because of that dead-end nature. You don't have anywhere else to go.
Okay, so that vacant
That was-
lot will be used as parking for the other
It's my
units.
understanding that it will be partially yard and partially sort of park-like space and partially parking.
Gotcha. And then the nice board ups with the roses on them,
Yes.
can we move them somewhere else in the ward, or?
You know, I'll ask. They
really
came
nice.
with the buildings. That was done by Jim Roos several years ago when he had the intention of redeveloping these, but was unable to
Gotcha.
get the money together. So
All right, that's
I'll
all.
ask, for
Thank
sure.
you.
I don't think they'll go to waste.
I don't think they will.
They've been there for so long.
So is DSCC at all involved with this development?
With this particular development, I'm not aware of any involvement that they have with this particular development.
Okay.
And again, this is outside of those LIHTC, CDA. I don't believe they've applied for CDA funding on this, but I could be wrong. They acquired these privately.
Okay. Any other questions from the committee? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill number 126.
I move we pass Board Bill 126 out of committee with a due pass recommendation.
Second. Previous roll.
Is there, there's a motion for previous roll. Is there an objection to previous roll? I object to previous roll, actually. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Moore. Alderwoman Howard.
Aye.
Alderwoman Hubbard. Alderwoman Murphy. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Gunther.
Aye.
Alderman Oldenburg. Chairman Cone.
Aye.
7 aye votes.
With that, we pass Board Bill number 126 out with due pass recommendation. Next Board Bill being heard is number 131. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Board Bill 131 is a tax abatement for 3107 Merrimack. For those of you who kind of know the Merrimack area, this is directly across the street from St. Anthony's Church, pretty much. The developer here, Oliver Hamilton, is looking to, this is currently a multifamily house with just 2 apartments, and it's my understanding that it will remain a 2-unit dwelling after the reconstruction. The the area is a bit challenged down here. We continue to have some vacancy, and the area just north of there continues to be somewhat challenged. So I think developing this with a full gut rehab will really help kind of stabilize Merrimack Street and that kind of area a little bit. And with that, we're asking for 10 years at 90%. If you look at the financials here, 10 years at 90% is really only granting a $12,000 abatement. That's because, the taxes are fairly low in this area to begin with. He did acquire this on the private market, it's my understanding, so he did pay a considerable amount for what is pretty much a shell at acquisition. There was a lot of problems with this particular property, according to the neighbors, before Mr. Hamilton purchased it. And so while we are looking at 10 years at 90%, it is a fairly low amount of overall abatement. But will certainly help the viability of this project. Mr. Hamilton does intend to manage it himself. That is my understanding.
Questions from the committee? Alderman Moore?
No questions.
Alderwoman Howard?
What is the square footage of this building? I just am looking at what seems to be a massive building.
It is a massive building, and it has a carriage house in the back, so I should say that it's my understanding there'll be 2 units in the main building and an additional unit in the carriage house, so 3 units.
So he's renovating both
Yes.
structures?
He does
And for only $94,000?
He does a lot of work himself. He's out there doing a lot of work himself.
I just wonder, even just the gut work, the HVAC, plumbing, and the guts seems like that's awfully cheap. I don't know.
To be fair, I don't think it's an entire gut. I think a lot of those, like the plumbing and stuff like that is intact. This was occupied in the not terribly distant future. I don't think it was occupied in a way that fit in well with the community. As I mentioned, there was some issues reported by many of the neighbors. Okay. So I think this is a move in the right direction. Mr. Hamilton has had success in the neighborhood before with the previous project, and I have faith that he will have success with this one. He's pretty communicative with me when he sees issues on neighboring properties, and that gives me the confidence that he's there fairly frequently.
Okay. It just seems awfully cheap,
Yeah, I guess he's buying stuff at Refab down the street.
There you go. Okay. All right, thank you, that's all.
Alderwoman Hubbard? No questions. Alderwoman Murphy?
No questions, good luck.
Alderman Gunther?
No questions.
And this is not going to be owner occupied, he's
No.
just going to rehab it himself and rent it out?
He is,
Okay.
yes.
All too familiar with that block. It used to be in the 25th Ward, so it's nice to see some work being done.
It is. The neighbors to the immediate west are good friends of mine, and they've been pretty pleased so far with this.
That's great. Hearing no other questions from the committee, I'll entertain a motion to pass out Board Bill number 131.
I move we pass Board Bill 131 out of committee with a do-pass recommendation.
Second.
Previous roll.
Is there an objection to previous roll? Hearing no objection to previous roll, Board Bill number 131 passes out with a do-pass recommendation. We'll take up Board Bill number 168 next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board Bill 168 is tax abatement for 3555 through 59 California. And this property is at the corner of California and Miami, which is several blocks up from the Oregon and Miami sort of properties we were just looking at. This property is developer Will Lieberman, who has a very good track record in the community. The acquisition cost here for this massive building of $15,000 is fairly low for that size of a building, and it's my recollection that this was purchased after a fire in the building, so there was considerable damage done to it, and the roof had to be completely redone and other things. While we are working on stabilizing this part of the community, there's still some significant challenges here in Graveway Park. We've had 8 homicides so far this year in this neighborhood, which is really, really considerable. And we still have a lot of work to do. So I think this project here will really work to stabilize California, which is one of our stronger streets in the Graveway Park neighborhood. And I think this being 10 full apartments will house quite a few people in a nice facility. So with that, we're looking at 10 years at 95%. Do we have the, oh, we do, they're on the back here. Yep. The full. With that, I'll take questions.
Questions from the committee, Alderman Moore.
What was this building before?
You know, I don't know. After the fire, it was vacant for some time, and then Mr. Lieberman has owned it for several years before renovating it, trying to figure out what to do with it. So for my history, for as long as I can remember, it's been vacant. Alderman Gunther, do you remember any former use of this building in particular? I mean, there was housing in there.
Yeah, was this one that had the daycare sign up? But I don't think
It did have a daycare sign up, and so, but I don't know how long ago it was operational.
Yeah. That's all
And
I
that
know.
sign, yeah. So, Alderman Moore.
Does it look like this picture now, or is it boarded up?
It's not boarded up, but it doesn't I think it's moving towards this direction, if that's not a.
What I was getting at is it's a good-looking building.
Oh, it's a great looking building. It really is a beautiful building.
That's all I have.
We're lucky that after the fire, this wasn't taken down, that it was stabilized, even though it was vacant for many years, that we're going to be able to save it.
Alderwoman Howard.
No questions.
Alderwoman Hubbard.
So the acquisition cost was only 15,000?
I know, we were talking about that before the meeting. I think the reason why it was so low was because of the fire and the amount of work needed to kind of stabilize the roof and other things. It's a really low cost of acquisition for a building this massive.
And on the farm, is that going to be retail or something? What is that on?
You know, I have to be honest with you. I don't 100% know. I do believe his intention is to keep it entire residential. I've spoken with, do what? Yeah, I mean, speaking with Mr. Lieberman, he knows my preference for having commercial and commercially viable spaces. But at this point, I think the feeling is this far away from Cherokee Street, it might be difficult to have a successful commercial space. Maybe down the road, but it would be residential.
Alderwoman Murphy.
No, it looks good. I don't remember what that was when I was a kid, but I know they were occupied with something, years ago. I'm familiar with the Miami side. There's 2 large homes that face Miami on the top of the hill up there. One faces California and one faces Miami.
Yeah.
I knew the people that lived in those homes as a child. So, that's good to keep California short up. It is a pretty building. So,
California has some phenomenally beautiful buildings.
yes, and then it's got buildings too. They
yeah.
put in the 50s, and I remember that, which was a shame. But yeah,
Those are
okay,
a shame.
that's all. Nope.
Alderman Gunther.
Questions?
I have another question.
Oh, Alderwoman Howard.
Now, you said Mr. Lieberman has continued to own this building?
He acquired it several years ago. I want to say 2 or 3, at least 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I would say. I don't know. I don't remember exactly when he purchased it. Following the fire, there was some question as to its future, and Will bought it at.
Oh, okay. He bought it after the fire.
That's
Okay.
right, yes.
Okay. I thought you said he owned it all along.
No,
Okay,
I think the reason
misunderstood.
for the low acquisition cost was because it was, I'm
Gutted,
certain it was
basically.
because of, purchasing it after significant damage.
Okay. No more
Any other
questions?
questions from the committee? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on the board bill.
Make a motion to pass Board Bill 168 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Previous roll.
Is there any objection to previous roll? Hearing no objection, Board Bill number 168 passes with a due pass recommendation. We'll go ahead and start taking up board bills from Alderwoman Davis. We'll start with Board Bill number 28.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the committee. We have sheets of information to pass out. The first one that I will address is Board Bill number 28. The address is 2647 through 51 Washington Boulevard. This particular development is exciting for me. One of the things that we've been concentrating on is making sure that we bring in new businesses, most especially smaller businesses, where we can have more jobs available for the neighborhoods that connect that corridor there. So when you have people that live in Jeff Vanderloo and Covenant Blue, the near downtown west area, it's very easy for them to have access to a job. The developer is David Dressner, and I'm sure a lot of you all know him. He's one of our, I think, most exciting, energetic young developers of small business and has been very successful. He has laid out a plan here after the acquisition of the building at $185,000. Construction costs is only $250,000, and that's a building that will house on the second floor a nonprofit, Forest Relief of Missouri. The first floor will house a company that will make coasters and another company that has a contract with USDA for pot stickers. At this location, there's a potential for up to 60 employees. As I understand it, in the beginning, we'll probably be looking at like 40 employees. It's in Midtown. There's a 10-year tax abatement at 75%.
Question from the committee, Alderman Moore has stepped out. Alderwoman Howard.
So the building is vacant currently?
He's already started moving in the pot sticker business.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. A pretty building.
It is very, that block right there has some very interesting architecture.
Is that tiles on the
Yes.
front?
Mhm.
Beautiful. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Alderwoman Hubbard. No question. Alderwoman Murphy.
No questions, sounds good.
Alderwoman Spencer.
No, this looks great. Forest Relief has done some great work in my ward and many of our wards over the years, and they provide a great service to the city.
Yes, they do.
I have no questions on this one.
Thank you.
Alderman Gunther.
I also support Forest Relief, so no questions.
Okay.
And pot stickers.
So, yeah, I think that this is a very exciting project. The building was vacant, prior to
For a number of years.
Mr. Dressner purchasing it, for a number of years. I think it's exciting to see, small businesses flourishing in the city, and it's a very exciting project for the 19th Ward and for the Midtown neighborhood, which that block of Washington still has some attention left to see further development there. Any other questions from the committee? Hearing no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we pass Board Bill 28 out of committee with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Previous roll.
Any objection to previous roll? Hearing no objection to previous roll, Board Bill number 28 passes out with a due pass recommendation. Alderwoman will take up Board Bill number 29 next.
29, okay. Here's the information for Board Bill 29. Board Bill 29 is, as most of you have heard me in the past, is one of my favorite nonprofit organizations, and that's Habitat for Humanity. This will be my 8th build with them. And this is my second build in the Tiffany neighborhood. This will be 6 homes. We have, it's a scattered site, so we'll have some homes on Folsom, and then actually, it covers 2 sides of Folsom there in the 3800 block. So we've got a great opportunity here to fill in some vacant lots that, and that would be the last for that particular area over there. They always do great architectural designs that fit right in with what's already there. And so the community is excited. Our neighborhood association has their own development committee that works with anybody who's interested in doing something in the ward, so they're very active and involved. The acquisition cost for the lots was $24,000. The construction cost is $1.2 million. The proposed sale for those homes are $170,000. There'll be 1,700 square feet, 4-bedroom, 2-bath homes. And what I like about it is they're family homes, so it's not a little small square box that doesn't have any character. So they're really, truly going to fit into the neighborhood. And we're asking for 10-year tax abatement for them. That is standard with Habitat homes, usually.
And that's 10 years at 100%? What?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Questions from the committee? Alderman Moore?
Yes, Alderwoman Davis, will the 6 houses look like the one in the picture?
That is not a very good picture here, but that fits into the style that's already on those blocks right there. But it looks much better than this picture.
Okay, because it looked boarded up on
I know, this is just not a good picture right here.
Okay, at the end of the day, you got it.
All righty, thank you.
Alderwoman Howard?
No questions at the beginning of the day.
Alderwoman Hubbard? No questions. Alderwoman Murphy?
No questions, really, just to, do they already have owners? You know, usually when Habitat starts, they already have.
They're already in classes, all of that's being done. You know, they take them through a year process,
Exactly.
and then they stay with them for a minimum of 18 months after they move into their homes.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Alderwoman Spencer?
No questions.
Alderman Gunther?
No questions.
Great. Are there any other questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I just want to applaud you for your work. I know Habitat does a tremendous job throughout the city. Sometimes it's difficult navigating through neighborhood associations and getting their support and buy-in, but these projects are really critical, you know, for helping our communities, and certainly appreciate your support for the organization.
Oh, I believe in them. I think everybody should go through their process before they buy a home.
Yeah,
I really do.
It's an important tool for educating homeowners too. So, and from our perspective, you know, obviously these are homes that are being marketed to first-time home buyers that are low-mod income qualifying home buyers. So, providing assistance for owner-occupied homes with a new developer, you know, like Habitat for Humanity is an exciting thing for us to be able to support. So, with that, I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill number 29.
Move that we
Go ahead.
pass Board Bill 29 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there an objection to previous roll? No objection to previous roll. Board Bill number 29 passes out with a due pass recommendation. Thank you. Alderwoman, Board Bill number 114.
Yes. So Board Bill 114, the address is really 2 adjoining buildings side by side at 2811 through 15 Locust. It's not often that you can be blessed to have a building rehabbed twice in 10 years. So this building was vacant in 2006, and we had somebody come in, rehab it, had small businesses in there for years, and when it was sold, when Jason Johnson bought it, he is putting a new face on the buildings and has already acquired one of the spaces. I just heard about that the other day, and I'm sure he'll have the other space occupied very shortly. So the acquisition cost was $375,000. The construction cost at this point is at $490,000, and it'll have office space that will have 16 employees in it. There's a possibility that there may be one other small business there until this first business grows. So we'll just look and see how that works itself out, because we have the ability, even though they're adjoining, to have two separate entrances. And I think it's a smart way to look at this process. So the details show that there's a little over 4,000 square feet for 2811, 6,200 square feet for 2815. And of course, it's in the Midtown area. And when you drive down from the 3,000 block of Locust to the 2,700 block of Locust, you'll see so many small businesses with new facades, and some have been there a long time, but most are new. So we're doing 5 years at 90%.
Great. Questions from the committee? Alderman Moore.
No.
Alderwoman Howard.
No questions.
Alderwoman Hubbard.
No question.
Alderwoman Murphy.
It seems like the construction cost is awfully high if the building was already you said it was already used or rehabbed it in 06?
Yeah, but remember that was over 10 years ago. And so when you put a new facade on, that normally costs more than the work that you do on the inside, most especially if you take it to another level. And that's what he's done. It's very attractive.
Very good. Thank you.
If any of you, for those of you not familiar with Jason, does very high quality work with his properties.
Yes.
Alderwoman Spencer.
No questions. Oh, yeah, I do have a question. What is this MVA gray?
It's in a mostly non-residential area. The MVA was assessed for residential areas, and most of Midtown is not residential. So it would have been a non-applicable section of the MVA analysis.
Well, perhaps it should say NA rather than gray.
Perhaps it should, but SLDC likes to keep us on our toes.
We are
Yes.
consistently on our toes with
Yes.
that, but that was my only question.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe we should have a star.
Have a star.
Alderman Gunther.
Thank you. My only question, you said it was rehabbed in 2006. Do you know, did it receive tax abatement in 2006 as well?
No, it did not.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay, hearing no other questions or comments from the committee, I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill number 114.
I move we pass Board Bill 114 out of committee with a due process recommendation.
Second.
Previous roll.
Is there an objection to previous roll? Hearing no objection to previous roll, we pass out Board Bill number 114 with a due pass recommendation. Alderwoman, I had a message from Alderman Rohde saying that you were going to speak about a board bill that he had.
Yes.
We don't have.
So there is no board bill from Alderman Rohde being heard in today's committee. However, it's a board bill that otherwise would have been assigned to this committee because it is a residential tax abatement.
Right.
It was, I'll say, accidentally assigned to the HUD's committee. And so it was heard in HUD's, I believe, yesterday.
It was heard in HUD's yesterday. It was passed out of committee, but we mainly wanted to satisfy the public hearing within the time frame. One of the things that can be done if it is required of the chair of this committee is for that bill to be assigned to this committee and be heard again. I really believe it was, you know what we've been through the last few weeks.
Right.
So I think it was a mistake. I really do. It wasn't advertised on your list of bills, and it was put in that committee, but I know originally it wasn't assigned to that committee.
So Dale, can you provide some clarity
A little backup,
Yeah.
'cause I can't even remember the,
So was
Well,
it,
it's a new construction residential property on Swan. Normally, it would be assigned to this committee for one reason or another, and I have no idea the president assigned it to HUD's. We advertised a hearing yesterday in HUD's. They had the hearing in HUD's. It passed out of HUD's. So legally, I think everything's been taken care of. I
the
think
advertisement for it was
in
for
HUD's.
yesterday's hearing?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I think
All
the
right,
only
just-
concern was by Alderman Rhodey is that he just wanted to make sure that, this committee didn't have any challenge with that or concern about it, because otherwise it would be second read tomorrow tomorrow, and move on through normally. But he was happy if you wanted to pull it back for some reason and not allow that normal process to occur, that he wanted to accommodate that because he didn't want anyone here to be concerned about the fact that it didn't get assigned here. But obviously, the president has the ability to sign bills to any committee he wants, and for one reason or another, got assigned to HUD's.
because we normally don't see those bills over there.
Right.
I mean, other than Alderman Rhodey saying that he wasn't going to support tax abatement in his ward anymore, I don't know if I have any objections. Are there concerns from anyone on the part of the committee? No? Okay. All right, well, we'll take it up on the floor tomorrow then.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
What was the address, do you know?
It was on Swan.
It was on Swan. It's in south of Manchester.
Yeah.
And therefore, our new map calls for, is it 5-year tax abatement?
Right, it's in that area that needs more development.
Well,
So-
yeah, the south side of Manchester. I'm
Yeah, it's on the
sure.
south side of
Yeah.
Manchester. So it's in a 5-year abatement area, and that's indeed what the bill was a 5-year tax abatement.
And I think Alderman Rhodey had indicated that it aligns with the recommendation from the map as well. Right.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Did you say it was 5 years at 75%?
What, do you remember the percent? I do not remember the percent, but it was 5 years, and it was, at some percent, it could have been 50% or 75%, something like that.
Bill over there in that stack, because I think that's our stuff right on the cart. For yesterday, I think that's all I think.
Do you have the bill there? No, you don't, no.
Just a sign.
So,
Yeah, okay, so it's 5 years at 90%.
Okay.
What's the total value of the development?
I don't have this, I don't have the financials from SLDC.
they passed that out too.
It seemed to me like it was a new construction in the $300,000 to $400,000 range, something like that.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I want to say it was like 320.
Yeah. Okay, so we do still have Alderman Moore's board bill to take up.
thought we-
Oh, thank you, Alderman. Appreciate your time.
I'll hold both of them.
We are going to hold the board bill for amendments.
Yeah, Evans. Hold it with Evans. Hold the board bill for Evans with Billups, so
Okay.
we'll hear both of them at the same time.
Okay, so you're fine holding those until our next committee hearing then?
No problem.
Okay. All right, well, if that's the case, then we have no other board bills before us, and meeting will be adjourned. Thank you.